That was a quote by Hideaki Anno, the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion. A lot of viewers, after watching the show, are often left confused by what they've just watched, unable to understand it. I'm going to give a brief description of the show's plot and some of its messages to give you a bit of context for the interview so you hopefully understand it better. The show contains a lot of symbolism, and unless you're looking for it, you can miss a lot. The original anime aired on the 4th of October 1995, and at first it seemed like your bog standard mecha anime, where you have your teenagers that pilot giant robots to fight aliens from space to save the world, and on the surface, that's what the anime does. You have your three main characters, Shinji, Asuka, and Rei, each piloting an Evangelion. They fight off against the Angels, which are aliens from space that are trying to get into Nerve headquarters, the good guys, and get the secret thing Nerve is hiding and in the world. However, there's a lot more to the show than that. The show has 26 episodes, and the last two were supposed to be very different, but due to time and budget constraints, they ended up being a 48-minute look into each main character's psyche. It was kind of like a group therapy session for each character, until they eventually discovered their faults and accepted them and who they are. The film, The End of Evangelion, came out on July 19th, 1997, and was the original ending to the show. It ended differently to the show, and is one of the reasons so many fans still theorize about it today. The film and the show had some really good directing and cinematography, which is another reason fans love it so much, and have such an active community. One of those fans is Casper Stanek.
There is a subreddit all about Evangelion. Every now and then I'll like to post my views on it and see what other people think. My main sort of angle that I like to go at is talking about the angels and why they're so important. The people in the community are very nice, and they definitely help me to understand the show much better. They're really quite nice about it. They also give you a bunch of other links to YouTube videos that will help you understand it and any other information that you need to know. The one video that really helped me sort of understand the series, I found it on YouTube. It's called Why the End of Evangelion is a Happy Ending. The guy basically goes into sort of like an analysis of the show and the ending, of how it ended and why it ended the particular way it ended. He really sort of helps you understand the emotional and psychological journey that the characters undertake. I think the main thing that we can take from the show and the effect that it has on all of us is the way that it teaches us to accept ourselves for who we really are, not to change our personality just to fit other people, but instead just accept each other and the way we personally are. So Shinji went through this entire journey of trying to make himself better so he can be a better role model to others and save the world from these angels. But in the end, all that mattered is him accepting himself for who he really was. I mainly access the show through Netflix. They have it on there. Funimation used to also have the show on their site. It's also very good watching the movies and the rebuilds. Unfortunately, the bad thing about them is that they're very pricey and they're very hard to get in the translated version for English. I think one of the impacts that Evangelion had on the anime community is the way the EVA units, they were very much different to what we've seen in mecha anime so far at the time period the anime was made. So in Gundam, the robots were created with two purposes in mind: to fit the show and to be able to be sold. When a young person picks up an anime, they definitely want to get some merchandise from it, and Gundam definitely did a very good thing of implementing those those robots as toys. They're made to be blocky, chunky, and overall have an overall appearance of a robot, like a classical robot. Whereas in Evangelion, the robots they're made to look humanoid and be more lifelike. So something that if we were to engineer in real life, they would sort of want to be looking that way, so they have the full maneuvering and be in touch with the human side. In Sword Art Online, there is a scene which very closely resembles the famous elevator scene in Evangelion, where our two main characters just stand still, don't make any eye contact, they just stand in silence for a whole minute. The viewers actually had a massive impact on the show. The writer, when he wrote the original series of the Evangelion, ended it on a way that a lot of the community didn't like. So the community was actually very, very upset with the way that the original series has ended. So the author decided to respond with rebuilds, which took an entire different path. Which he made the rebuilds to suit the community, which wanted it changed to a more generic-based mecha anime with destruction, focusing on the more fighting style, whereas the original series that he had intended to write was about the psychological development of characters and the emotions and relationships that they go through. You can also buy, or you used to be able to, they released Evangelion guitars. Fender has made one of them, which featured Asuka and Rei. You were also, at a certain time, you were able to buy Evangelion canned bread, which was quite a nice touch. You can also buy loads of merch, Asuka figurines or any other Evangelion figurines, which I personally own one, and I'm very proud of it. I have the Eva Unit 2, and it is lovely. The main message that I took away from the show is definitely acceptance. The show really focuses on individual characters and the way they are developed, and the way that they are progressing, and the way that Shinji in the end decides to accept who he really is and that he doesn't need to change for anybody else. And I think that's the message that we all should take from the show and just be ourselves and live the lives that we do. To an Evangelion convention too before. It was very fun. The people there were very welcoming. They were very fun to talk to. A lot of them turned up in cosplay outfits, cosplaying various characters. I didn't that one time, but if I were to go again, I definitely would have. It was a very nice, chill atmosphere, and it was just really fun to talk to and interact with everybody else around there. I am not very good at drawing, unfortunately, but I do like to draw certain characters every now and then. I am a massive fan of loads of animes, and I do like to occasionally draw myself an Evangelion unit or a protagonist from various animes. Yes, I do like to read quite a lot of fan-made stuff. One example that I can definitely give is with Eva, actually, which is one of the alternate endings where Asuka wakes up from her coma, and her and Shinji cooperate together to take on the villain at the time, Seilai. I don't really like that ending. I think it's really closed, and I personally just prefer what the author originally intended, and I just stick with the main series.
Hopefully, now that if you've seen this interview with a fan of the series, you'll be more inclined to go and check it out. I really do recommend it. Besides that, I hope you've enjoyed the interview and the information you've just been given.